Rank 1. The shoplifter. You're standing in a grocery store with a candy bar stuffed in your hoodie pocket. You've been pacing around the store, debating whether you should take it or be the good kid your parents taught you to be. You tell yourself it's just a candy bar, and it's not like you'll ever do it again. After 5 minutes of looking as suspicious as humanly possible, you finally gain the courage to start walking towards the door. Your heart is beating faster than the flash, but you did it. You made it out without being caught, and that candy bar tastes better than anything you've ever paid for in your life. Fast forward a couple weeks, and the itch to feel the same adrenaline rush comes back, so you go back to the store. You start with snacks. The snacks turn into cologne. Then cologne becomes electronics small enough to fit in your jacket lining. You feel like you're on top of the world. Nothing can stop you. You hit self-checkout like it's a game you've already won. Scan one, pocket the other. You've got a system, and it works every single time. Or at least you think. You keep this up for a while, thinking you're untouchable. You sell items to your friends for half off. But luck finally runs out. A worker sees you drop a cheap watch out of your pocket. The doors lock before you're able to reach them, and suddenly there are 2 security guards and a 911 call standing between you and the exit. They let you go with a warning. No charges, just a ban. A stern lecture and a feeling of embarrassment that will sit with you forever. Rank 2. The pickpocket. Stealing from stores was fun, but you want something bigger, more rewarding. You're on a busy subway station when you notice a guy working the crowd. He's smooth, calm, and is completely invisible to everyone around him. You get intrigued and start following closely. You watch him for about 15 minutes before saying anything. You approach him after and ask him to show you how it works. He goes cold and looks shocked by your request. His hands drop to his pockets like he's already calculating an exit. But you're not a cop, and he can tell. You ask him once again, "Can you show me how it works?" He looks at you for a long moment, then says, "One time, I can show you once, and after that, you're on your own." He bumps into a commuter, apologizes, and keeps walking. 30 seconds later, he circles back and opens his hand to show you a wallet with $200 cash inside. You spend the next month practicing until your hands don't shake anymore. After a week of convincing, one of your friends decides to become your partner. One of you creates the moment, a bump, a dropped phone, or a loud question, and the other one cleans the pocket before the apology is even finished. You never acknowledge each other in public, and everything is split an hour later somewhere quiet. Eventually one job goes sideways and you get rushed by 3 guys outside a concert who saw you work the whole scheme. You drop everything and run as fast and far as possible. Next week comes along and you repeat. Different location, new clothes, and take as much as you can. Rank 3. The burglar. After a while, the crowds start feeling dangerous. Too many eyes, too many phones pointed everywhere, and too many ways for it to go wrong in public. An older guy in your circle sits you down and shows you the numbers. 1 good house beats 3 days working a crowd. And nobody is watching the quiet streets of a subdivision at 2 a.m. with the same attention they give a concert venue. He teaches you how to read a neighborhood, which alarm boxes are real and which are plastic shells screwed to the wall to scare people, how to walk a street twice without looking like you're casing it, and how to move through a dark house in under 5 minutes without leaving anything behind. He tells you cash first, always cash first. Then you can look for jewelry, small electronics, and car keys. You listen to what he says, and it works. You get more comfortable, quick, and stealthy. The items start piling up: rings, chains, electronics, and an abundance of cash you've never seen before. After a while, you find a middleman who buys everything you bring for 30 cents on the dollar and never asks a single question. However, what nobody prepares you for is the quiet. Moving through someone's house at 2 a.m. with nothing but a flashlight, you see things you weren't supposed to see. The family photos on the walls, the kids' backpacks by the front door, and the prescription bottles lined up on the nightstand like little orange soldiers. These aren't just houses, these are people's lives, and you're standing in the middle of it at 2 a.m. taking pieces of it. Rank 4. The car thief. You're good at houses, but good starts to feel like a ceiling, and you're not interested in ceilings. A guy you know hands you a small black device and explains what it does. It's a relay amplifier, which costs a couple $100 online. It reaches through the walls of a house while the owner is asleep, picks up the signal from their keyless fob, and tricks the car into thinking the key is standing right outside. When done right, the car unlocks, and you're gone in just under 30 seconds. The owner won't even know it's gone until the morning. After some practice, your contact decides you're ready for something bigger. You work from a list now. Someone tells you what they need, specific makes, specific models, specific colors, and you go get it. The cars are in a shipping container within 48 hours, headed overseas with cloned plates and fresh VINs, and sold at full price to someone who doesn't ask questions. 4 cars a week, $5,000 a car. You get addicted, not only to the money, but the adrenaline. It's the most you've ever felt, and you don't want it to ever stop. But you're inside someone else's machine now, and you're starting to understand that machines don't care about the people inside them. They just care about whether those people are still useful. Rank 5, the armed robber. The car job was good money, but you're still just an errand boy. Someone hands you a list, you fill it, and they take the lion's share. You're doing all the risk and seeing a fraction of the reward. You want the big score. You want to walk into a room and walk out with everything in it. You look into jewelry stores, check cashing spots, and armored truck stops. Anywhere cash moves in physical form and can be taken by force fast is where you want to be. You build a crew carefully, taking the extra steps to ensure safety and loyalty, because you know one wrong person could lead to the whole thing collapsing. To ensure the job runs smoothly, everyone has a role, and you rehearse until it's muscle memory. Who controls the room? Who takes the goods? Who watches the door? And who has the car running? Building up to the first job, you and your crew spend weeks doing the dirty work. You walk the block at different times of the day, pretending to be a nobody. You time the armored truck routes down to the minute. You figure out which shift has the laziest security guard, which exit has the slowest lock, and which camera has the biggest blind spot. By the time the job actually happens, it has already been done 100 times in your head. You land on a mid-sized jewelry store with one security guard who gets paid $15 an hour and has never dealt with anything more than a complaint. Because you and your crew did all the dirty work beforehand, you now know there is a 3-minute window when the safe is open, and 3 minutes is all you need. The job is done properly and clean. You leave no trace or evidence. $280,000 is split 4 ways before you all enjoy a drink while watching the sunset in celebration. Rank 6, the art thief. Somewhere along the way, the money stopped being the point. You want something no amount of money can actually buy. Something irreplaceable. Something the rest of the world thinks is sitting safely behind glass somewhere and has no idea is already gone. You spend months studying the target like a curator, checking security rotation schedules, camera blind spots, and where the pressure sensors are placed. You learn which guards cut corners on the night shift and which exits get checked last. When you arrive outside the museum a week later, you walk in, not through a broken window or an underground tunnel, but through the front door. Dressed like you belong there, because you've learned confidence is the best disguise there is. You're inside for 81 minutes, moving calm and quiet through rooms most people only see behind velvet ropes. You take what you came for and leave everything else exactly as it was, then walk back into the night like nothing ever happened. Nobody knows it's gone until morning, but by then you're already 3 states away. The empty frames stay on the wall, the investigation stays open, and somewhere in a private room that nobody but you will ever see is the painting you took, hanging exactly where you put it. Rank 7, the architect. You've been doing this your whole life now, and along the way, you've become the most dangerous version of what you are, almost unrecognizable to the same kid whose biggest crime was shoplifting a candy bar. You don't steal anything yourself anymore. You haven't in years. You sit above it now. People come to you with problems they can't solve. A vault, a shipment, a building everyone says is impossible. And you look at it and see the answer almost immediately. This is because you've been reading buildings, systems, and people your entire life, and the patterns are just obvious to you now. You build the crew, design the job, and take the largest cut. The best part is you carry the least risk because you are never, ever in the room when it happens. Not once, not ever. Law enforcement knows you exist. They can feel you in the jobs that keep happening. Too clean, too precise, too perfectly timed to be luck. But feeling someone and proving it in federal court are 2 completely different things. You have a legitimate business, a nice house, and shake hands at charity events with people who would riot if they knew what or who you really were. And somewhere right now, a crew you built is walking into a building using a plan you drew up months ago, about to take something the world doesn't even know is gone yet. It all started with a candy bar in a grocery store. You pour yourself a drink and wait for the call. Job's finished, boss.